Ladies and gentlemen, if we could please have you rise and remove your hats for the singing of the national anthem. This evening we have a special guest, Maya Sherman, to sing for you.
So proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled
Maya is an 8th grader at Vianza Middle School. Thank you, Maya.
Running back Jesse Valenzuela and James McNamara, the quarterback, but more importantly, Mason Brown had himself a game.
Right, Mason Brown, not only 149 yards receiving, 3 touchdowns, but he also got the Ventura County Star Play of the Week with an unbelievable 40-yard catch and run for a touchdown. What a way to start off his season against the rival Rio Mesa. Last year Camarillo was kind of that gutty team that, they were 2 plays away from winning the Marmani League, which would have been an absolutely unbelievable achievement. And this year, with 16 returning starters, on both sides of the ball, they may not be that gutty underdog anymore, especially with you see the way that they performed last week. They may be, one of the favorites to really make an impact with players like McNamara and Valenzuela and Brown. And a really strong offensive line, and a really strong defense, and arguably the best coaching staff in Ventura County with some of the guys that they've already had and some of the guys that they've added. This is a team that really can be one of the best teams within the confines of Ventura County and maybe go on to do something, and that's what we're trying to figure out this early in the season. It's still August, but these games count.
Yeah, Coach Jack Willard told me earlier this week the heart of the defense is that linebacking core led by Drew Carter, co-linebacker of the year in the Marmani League last year. As for Buena, last week they had to play a quarterback, sophomore Owen Medina, his first varsity snaps. They also have a pretty young team overall, a lot of kids that never played varsity football until last week. But talking to Coach Boland, he has told both of us he likes Owen Medina and loves what he can bring as the season goes on.
Well, Buena, they're 1 year off from changing the whole staff. Former player for them, Ryan Boland, taking over. And so that was a year of change last year. But really, this is the real year of change. They turned over almost all all the skill positions. Cody Barber, their all-county quarterback, graduated. Andrew Tilkins, their all-county receiver, graduated. They've turned over all these skill positions, and they're kind of starting anew in those spots. But they do have a bunch to work with. The left side of their offensive line is, and the guys also play defensive line. They're very strong. Alec Tafoya, Noah Faulkner. They got 3 really strong guys up front, and so even though last week they were down 28-0 at the half against Santa Barbara, you watch the game. Santa Barbara scored. One of them was off kind of a needless turnover. Another was a 4th down play. They really struggled with Santa Barbara's senior quarterback, Gambarella, who's a really athletic guy. He made a lot of plays with his legs, and Buena missed some blitzes. They brought a lot of pressure, and Gambarella made him kind of pay for that. And the second half of that game, when you watch it, it was 14-14. They really, they kind of, the young team kind of maybe made some strides. And the question is just, how much strides they can make between game 1 and game 2 in order to make this a competitive game against a really strong team. I mean, that's, really they're going to have to take, baby steps, move the ball, move the chains a little bit. How much they can move the ball and keep the ball in this first half will really determine, if they're able to stay in this game against Camarillo.
It will be the Buena Bulldogs back to receive. Both Devin Morris and Robert Aguilar. Kicking off is Peter Defoe for Camarillo. Later in this game, we will see place kicks, field goals. 2 female place kickers in this game. Taylon Butterbaugh for Buena and Alex Gonzalez for Camarillo. We'll have more on them later. As this game gets underway, the kick is up, and it is caught by the up man at the 18-yard line. Taking it past the 25, down to the 27-yard line is where the Buena Bulldogs will begin, and that was returned by Abraham Friend, who you'll see in the secondary later today.
Corner, right? And the guy to watch when they returned, Devin Morris, who had one of the 2 Buena touchdowns last week, he returned a kickoff for a touchdown, I believe, in the Ventura game, one of the games I covered last year. Buena, even though they were 2-9 last year, had so many high-scoring games. They were a really entertaining team, and they're kind of starting anew in their skill position this year.
Owen Medina takes it out of the shotgun, hands it off to Robert Aguilar. Aguilar picks up maybe, it looks like actually a loss of 1, as this Camarillo defense, and we talked about it right before the kickoff, it starts with that linebacking core, Lazaro, Carter, Lithgow, and Anderson. That is a group that this coaching staff, led by Jack Willard, they believe strongly that these linebackers can make plays every week.
Drew Carter may be the best linebacker in Ventura County. He was a tremendous player last year, really opened a lot of eyes, and now that he's older, you want to see a higher level of play. You get the first 2 plays there out of Aguilar. He's probably their best all-around player, Buena's best all-around player. He's not only the tailback, he's also a key player in their secondary, so he may be the best athlete out there for Buena tonight.
3rd and 8. Aguilar with both carries so far in the early stages of this Week 1 contest. Medina throws it incomplete to the right side. That time it was Robert Buckley out of the slot, not able to come back to the ball, and it's a 3-and-out, and the Camarillo defense holds strong in the early going. Yeah,
and this is kind of this looks like Buena again at the beginning of that game in Santa Barbara, where they really struggled to move the chains, and they get stuffed up front by that the powerful Camarillo front 7, and then can't make a play on 3rd down. And as this game goes on, those plays on 3rd down will become even more and more important.
Mason Brown back from the rugby-style punt, and it goes off of a Buena Bulldog, which is illegal touching, as it goes down right around the 45-yard line, but it hit one of the fellow Buena Bulldog players, so penalty will be assessed, and it will be great field position upcoming for this Camarillo Scorpions offense. James McNamara, junior quarterback. He's a guy last week that we said, you get the ball in Mason Brown's hands, good thing will happen. 3 touchdowns of 20-plus yards. You mentioned the play of the week, and he's an electric player, all-purpose, as Coach Willard told me this week. He might get some carries out of the backfield, slot, outside receiver, maybe even direct snaps coming to him. They're going to find a way to get number 8, Mason Brown, the ball early and often.
I mean, as the guy who puts together our plays of the week, though, that first game really reminded me of some of the stuff that you saw out of that great Rio Mesa playmaker last year, Dante Martin. You know, if he's able to give Camarillo that sort of production game in and game out, this is going to be an offense that is going to put up a ton of points, maybe approach that 600-point level that Rio Mesa had last year.
And now the penalty is being assessed all the way up to
yards.
the 40-yard line, a 15-yard penalty. So starting off at the plus 40, that ends up being a net of only 12 yards after the punt. They were at their own 28 for Buena, and now a great field position for James McNamara and this Camarillo Scorpions offense. A lone back is Valenzuela, lined up to the right. Hands it off to Valenzuela. He goes to the left side, past the 40, up to the 35, out of bounds, but flag is down in the backfield, and that's usually a sign that this will be coming back.
I've already written hold in my notepad. We'll see what happens here.
Yeah, it's one of those things where week 0, week 1, week 2, we expect more penalties in the month of August before it gets into September and October, and these teams start to find some continuity and be a bit more in sync.
Especially like the first series, and you know, maybe this kind of adds the degree of difficulty here from this Camarillo offense. You start, in Buena territory to start the game. I mean, you're rolling downhill already. So now it's
1st and 21,
yeah.
An 11-yard assessed penalty as it happened in the backfield.
Just the flag that Buena needs.
Camarillo 1st and 20 officially, right near midfield. It's caught by who else but Mason Brown. Brown gets that 10 yards back as it's now going to be 2nd and 10. And that was a good, smart, heads-up, high-percentage play. McNamara looked for his first read. Brown was open. You get it to him and hope he makes a play in space.
High percentage, too. There was some potential there as well because, if he keeps his balance, he breaks that tackle, he could go. So there was a shot there where that could have been one and done.
2nd and 10, single setback, 3 to the wide side of the field. Now a man in motion for Camarillo. The handoff goes to Valenzuela, picks up about 5 yards to set up a 3rd and 5. The man in motion for Camarillo was Carson Anderson, their H-back, so expect him to get a bunch of motion today, try to line up a few of those blocks for the Scorpions offense. Officially only a 3-yard gain as they move it back from the original spot. 3rd and 7 upcoming from the Buena 37-yard line. 3 wide, this time moving in motion. Camarillo, back to pass. James McNamara looking downfield, and he is sacked for a big loss. And coming up on the defensive line, making the play, how about Alec Tafoya, the big guy in the middle? We talked about him on the offensive line, but he can play a little D-line as well.
Yeah, big play for Buena to get off the field early, not get behind on the first series to Camarillo, and kind of allow Camarillo to get away from him, kind of like Rio Mesa did last week. And that, no changes on the offensive front for Camarillo. So it's a full-strength Camarillo offensive line that gets beat there. And Tafoya is one of the best linemen in the county. On either side of the ball, and we'll see him now on the offensive side. He won't be on the sideline long.
The punt goes to the right side. A bit of a wobbler, bounces back to the 30-yard line. So now the Buena Bulldogs, they get their defensive stop, and it's time for this offense to take the field once again. 0-0, 8:49 remaining in the first quarter. Here from Buena High School, Ventura Orthopedics is proud to support the collegiate and high school athletic teams in the community. The doctors serve as team physicians for most of the high school and college sports programs in the area. Whether assisting the game injuries or cheering for players from the sidelines, the doctors at Ventura Orthopedics consider it a privilege to be part of the team. 0-0, and this time they fake the handoff. Actually, it is given up the middle, about a half-a-yard gain, and that time it was one of those where Medina faked the quick throw, hands it off, and it will be 2nd and 9.
Once again, Buena running the ball on first down. You've got a sophomore quarterback. You're trying to bring him around. You're trying to get him easy throws. You don't want to put him in too tough a spot, but they do have to start getting some positive yardage in early downs.
And now they will throw the ball as coming out of the backfield was Bruce Powell Mathis. Mathis picks up about 2, and it will set up 3rd and 7.
Mathis, there's a name at Buena. We'll see if, got to check to see if he's related to Amelia Mathis, the former Buena High soccer star, U.S. youth national team participant. I think she went to UCLA.
Single set back is Powell Mathis. 4 wide, 3 to the far side, 1 to the short side. Medina scrambling. He's looking across the middle. It's complete for a first down, and he found his receiver, Christian Ayala. Pickup of about 10, 11 yards, and a first down for the Buena Bulldogs. And a great play by Medina. Got out of the pocket, kept his eyes downfield, and saw Ayala crossing and hooked up for the 11-yard gain.
Yeah, moved around a little bit, you know, changed his eye line and made the play, you know, pitch and catch into space against and they get some, you know, they get the flag tacked on here, get into Camarillo territory, get a little positive, you know, smiles on their faces, feeling confident about themselves, get these sophomores and juniors, hit to the head.
Shot to the head, so another penalty from Camarillo. They had the holding penalty, which was crucial on their first offensive series. It's now 2 penalties for 25 yards. Medina on a slant route, incomplete. That time intended for one of his top targets, Zach Babcock, another sophomore. So when you look at some of these up-and-coming players for the Buena Bulldogs, Medina and Babcock are almost the only 2 true underclassmen that get a ton of playing time, and you can see why. Babcock, he's a big body, 5'11", 160-pound sophomore. Clearly, that time, it was open, but a little bit too high. 2nd and 10, 7.5 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Medina hands it off, and it's Powell Mathis once again for a gain of 4. 3rd and 6, upcoming from the Camarillo 39.
I think that was a scissors trap. It was a play I was familiar with back in the day.
Bring up 3rd and 5 from the.
Try to stay between the tackles, a little power running. We've seen Mathis already catch one out of the backfield. Now he gets his 2nd rush of the game. 3rd and 6. The pass goes outside, and it's complete to Devin Morris, the track speedster. Coach Ryan Bolin said earlier this week he is one of the fastest players in the school, was an all-relay champion last year. And you saw it on that play, just a quick out, get it into his hands, and let him run towards the sticks. 1st and 10 from the 23.
Yeah, 16 yards, break up the Buena offense now. A couple 3rd down conversions. You know, when you're not 3rd and 11, 3rd and 14, when you got a manageable 3rd and 5, you can make a quick, makeable play like that.
Gets the confidence for the sophomore quarterback. Nothing doing this time, and that time it was Alex Seja, the defensive end, who just stuck Powell Mathis behind the line of scrimmage. 2nd and 11 as Powell Mathis comes out, and back into the game, Robert Aguilar.
Now you've backed this solid Camarillo defense up against its own goal line a little bit, or at least into the red zone almost. And so, you know, you get a little bit of response from the Scorpions.
6.5 minutes remaining in the first quarter, 0-0. This time a handoff goes for about 3 yards, maybe back to the original line of scrimmage, so a 2-yard gain for Robert Aguilar. And you can tell what this Buena offense wants to do. Establish the run early, then you can set up the pass. And you've seen them. They've been able to get a few for 5 or 6 yards. But the one thing that Camarillo has done pretty well, though, is there's been now 3 tackles for losses already on these running backs on some of their downs.
I mean, really, the first down is -1, -2, 1, incomplete, and -2. That's
3rd and 10, incomplete, and coming right up the gut was Carson Anderson. We've seen him as the H-back on offense. This time coming from his outside backer spot, bats the ball down, and now it's 4th and 10, and you would think a bit outside of field goal range, which means Buena's probably going to go for it.
Yeah, we see Butterball warming up, but this is a little bit outside of her range. The problem, you know, it's a great play call on 3rd and 10, but when it breaks down like that, because you weren't going for the whole 10, you were going for 5 to set up 4th and 5 because you knew you weren't going to kick the field goal. So, you know, that's the problem when you don't execute a simple play like that.
4th and 10, Aguilar, the single back, 2 wide to the left, 2 wide to the right. Back to passes Medina. He's looking left. He had a good pocket, incomplete, intended for his top target, Devin Morris, was well guarded by the linebacking core, and a turnover on downs for the Buena Bulldogs. A pretty good sustained drive overall for Buena, but ultimately nothing to show for it as the Camarillo defense rose to the occasion with their back to their own goal line.
Yeah, you don't get the points, but I'm sure Coach Bolin is, you know, that's a more positive drive than anything Buena was able to do in the first half last week against Santa Barbara. One of the reasons why they were out of the game at halftime, 28-0. So, you know, even though you don't get points out of it, look where Camarillo's starting. They're 30 yards back from where they started the last series.
1st and 10, ball on the 23-yard line for Camarillo. No score in the first quarter, and there was movement up front. Were they drawn off, or did big number 51 cross? That's Alec Tafoya, but it looks like it might be a false start on the Scorpions. Yep, false start on the Camarillo Scorpions will back them up again. That's now 3 penalties, for 30 yards. So in the early going, they had a 10-yarder, then the personal foul, shot to the head, and now a false start. That's a lot of penalty yardage, as we expect in week 1. But this is one way Buena can stay in this game. If Camarillo continues to make penalties, that's going to put them in tough spots. 1st and 15, past the midway point of the first quarter. The handoff goes up the middle, and it's a gain back to the original line of scrimmage, a 5-yard pickup for Jesse Valenzuela.
Jesse Valenzuela is such an explosive player. Talk about how young Buena is. It didn't matter for Valenzuela last year. He was a sophomore, busted on the scene, and made big play after big play as Camarillo, opened so many eyes in that great Marmani League run, and went toe-to-toe with Oaks Christian and Westlake. In St. Bonaventure in those games.
Mason Brown moved to his right from the slot, and it's a completed pass over to the left side. Carter Alexander on 2nd and 10 picked up about 10, maybe even 11, and it will set up a 3rd and short upcoming for the Scorpions. Pretty good heads-up throw there by McNamara.
It was a good tackle, too, by that corner out there. I think it was Christian Ayala. Under duress to make Camarillo convert the 3rd and short now.
3rd and 3 officially. Ball on the Scorpions' 31-yard line. Mason Brown once again in motion. Back to pass to McNamara. Finds his target on the right side again for a big gain. Carter Alexander up the sideline, knocked out of bounds, and then a penalty flag as he's falling out of bounds. Probably 15 more yards to go. This could end up being near the red zone, and if that's the case, this could end up ultimately being about a 50-yard gain.
Yeah, you make Camarillo have to convert on 3rd and short, but again, that's what makes this Camarillo offense so great. They have so many places they can go with the ball. We've talked about Brown, but somebody like Alexander, they've got tight ends, they've got running backs, they've got H-backs, they've got all kinds of weapons and all kinds of scheming, and I think it's probably time we start talking about this coaching staff. Not only, Jack Willard, one of the more experienced head coaches around, offensive coordinator Tewa Sanchez, former, St. Bonaventure star and Santa Paula head coach, and really one of the better offensive minds in the area. We saw the way he schemed up that great offense from a couple years ago that played in the state championship game when they had so much talent, and he was able to benefit and really show his stuff with all the all the cards he had in his hand. And this may be a similar team with you now have in McNamara a 2nd-year quarterback who's coming into his own, and all kinds of weapons out there.
Yeah, that team a few years ago, they were loaded, runner-up in the state championship, and really just a fun team to watch. The Camarillo Scorpions trying to step up this season, and it is McNamara handing it off to Valenzuela. Valenzuela gets around the left side, tries to cut up, but nothing doing. A big-time stuff that time. Coming up and making the play was, I believe, Devin Morris for the Buena defense, and a good job from the secondary to come up and make the tackle as it sets up a 2nd and 8.
Yeah, we don't need much of that Buena roster. I mean, you're talking about a lot of guys who play both ways. Devin Morris, playmaker on offense, cornerback on defense. Same thing with Tafoya, key cog of the offensive line, playmaker on defense.
2nd and 8, 4 wide. Step back is Valenzuela.
Pressure.
There's a lot of pressure, and trying to get rid of it, and does, is McNamara, as a lot of pressure came up the middle, and it's those guys, Duarte, Tafoya, Vega, Paramo, you name it. The Buena front has been pretty good so far defensively.
One thing you'll notice about this Buena defense, especially that I did last week, is that they do bring a lot of pressure. They will blitz. They haven't done so. I wonder if they're not planning to as much tonight against this offense, against an experienced quarterback like McNamara. Something to watch.
3rd and 8, ball on the 22-yard line. Camarillo Scorpions, it is McNamara throws a screen pass. It's complete short, and then breaking it inside the 15, right near the first down sticks. Appeared to be a yard short was Jack Holden, the senior wideout. That was a good screen pass. The blocking downfield, though, allowed him to get near that first down mark, and they're calling a first down, which will make it, they might measure, nope, they're giving the Camarillo Scorpions a first down. It's 1st and 10, ball at the 14-yard line. They needed 8, they picked up about 8 and a quarter.
Exactly, it was 3rd and 8, and they got the 8. I think that last lunge from Jack got it. There's there's another kid who plays both ways. He's their safety. The slot that just made the play there for Camarillo. Both these teams have guys who are impact players on both sides of the ball.
1st and 10, ball on the 14-yard line. Another pass to a running back, and Valenzuela takes it into the end zone. A touchdown from 14 yards out. No flags on the field, and that will be the first score of the game. Jesse Valenzuela with 3:03 remaining in the first quarter. The Scorpions strike first.
And all that was a simple short side swing, and Valenzuela reacted quicker than the defense. And Jesse Valenzuela is one of the quicker players, especially in the West County here. He gets the ball in his hands, takes that first step, and nobody was going to be able to benefit from the angle that some of those Buena defenders would have had. He was the moment he caught that ball, he was thinking 6, and he didn't need too much more space. He made use of every little bit he had.
Now the kicker is Alex Gonzalez. She is a soccer star, a senior for this Camarillo school. And last week, 5 for 6 on PATs, 1 for 1 on our only field goal attempt from 30 yards. They're expecting a lot out of the soccer star. Snap back, hold down, and kick is through. And that puts the Scorpions up 7-0 here as we go towards the late stages of the first quarter. 20 doctors with 5 locations in Ventura County, all with one goal in mind, to get you back in the game. Ventura Orthopedics specializes in sports medicine, general orthopedics, pain management, pediatric, and MRI. Ventura Orthopedics offers exceptional therapy services featuring 26 highly skilled physical and occupational therapists. Learn more at venturaortho.com or call to schedule an appointment at 800-698-1280. That's 800-698-1280.
It's a good time to mention, what is probably the biggest story tonight. Alex Gonzalez, senior, Camarillo High, all-county, Ventura County star, girls soccer player, played powder puff football last year, and they convinced her to come out for the football team. She went from powder puff to the varsity team as a kicker. She kicked a 30-yard field goal in her first varsity game last week. You saw her out there. Really strong leg. And on the other side, you got a sophomore by the name of Taylin Butterbaugh. She, it's a really familiar name, especially in these parts when it comes to this field and soccer. Her mom, Trish Butterbaugh, a championship coach, CIF championship coach for a long time, dominated the Channel League for a really long time.
Her brother just finished being the star running back.
Tanner Butterbaugh last year for Coach Boland. The soccer team practices adjacent to the football team. She came over, bridged that gap, and played some football.
First down, the handoff goes to Powell Mathis. Nothing doing as this front for Camarillo continues to win first down. And that's becoming one of the more apparent stories of the early stages of this game, is Camarillo's defense is holding very stout on first down.
So what you just got was a kind of a Cliff Notes version of just a tremendous story in tomorrow's Star. It will be in the paper. It's online already by Lauren Ledeen. We've got some video if you want to meet the two kids as well. There's no way to really confirm that, two female kickers, starting kickers on the field, have ever faced off in a game in Ventura County before. This is what we think. We think it's never happened before. We certainly have never heard. We know that, in the past there's been some great kickers who happen to be female previously, but we really don't think it's ever happened before that both teams have had a female kicker that they've relied on for points. So really potentially an historic occasion tonight here at Buena High, where you've got two phenomenal athletes, two phenomenal soccer players who are multi-sport stars and bridging the gender gap, playing in a male-dominated sport and getting on the scoreboard.
Yeah, and according to both coaches, I remember Coach Bolin telling me the other day that the weight room is where they get respect. Taylin Butterball comes in, she's working out with the team, she's putting on the weights, and she's a sophomore soccer player, and that's how you earn the respect of your teammates. You run the drills, you run the stairs, you go out there, hit a few tackling dummies, and just set the tone that you are indeed a football player. This punt sails way out of bounds, and that was not the best of punts, as the punter for the Buena offense is Robert Aguilar. They like doing the rugby style, and that time he went to toe poke it, and it went wide only to the 30-yard line. A 7-yard punt, and another time for Camarillo with great field position. They started from the Buena 40. Now they'll start from the Buena 30.
Now it's danger time here for Buena. You had that nice drive, you got a little confidence, you didn't get anything out of it. You had a chance to get off the field. Camarillo makes a big play, they get a penalty tacked on, convert that easily into a touchdown, and now you get another 3 and out, not able to get anywhere. You get a poor special teams play, and now you're really in trouble. Buena defense really has to come up big here for the second time tonight.
Camarillo up 7-0, 2:17 remaining in the first quarter. From Buena High School, the Ventura Orthopedics Game of the Week. McNamara overthrows his intended target, Mason Brown, and that's a guy you clearly want to get the ball in his hands, but a little bit too high, and he was wide open with a ton of space in front of him on 1st and 10.
Yeah, potential big play there on first down, and now, Buena's got, if they can get a rush on, get a negative play, they might be able to get off the field here. And I think we're at the edge of Gonzalez's range. I was told the range is about to 40. It'd be interesting to see if they attempted it.
They made a 30-yarder last week.
Yeah. From the angle, too.
2nd and 10, fakes the handoff, throws it in around the middle, and that is caught by Damian Nahar, a 30-yard walk-in touchdown. A great zone read. You fake the handoff, and then Nahar, the tight end, just runs the post wide open for a touchdown. And you said danger zone. 2 plays later, 30 yards, touchdown, 13-0, Scorpions lead.
It's one of the more simple plays. People have been running that pop past the tight end, for decades all around this country. And, tremendous play fake by McNamara, wide open to the tight end. Just so many weapons this Camarillo offense has. And, Damian Nahar, just simple catch and run and finish. And now you got a 2-score game, and that's you're playing with fire when you're playing this Camarillo offense. I mean, they did it last week to Rio Mesa. It was a 1-score game late in the middle of the first half, and a couple things went the wrong way for Rio Mesa, and suddenly it was a 3-score game, and that's where Buena finds himself right now if they can't get any first downs. And
even with the punt, it's not technically a turnover, but when it's a 7-yard punt, it might as well be a turnover. And 7 yards later, that doesn't do you much good. 30 yards in 2 plays for the Camarillo Scorpions, and now within a 57-second span, it goes from 0s to 14-0.
Yeah, good call, Kent. I mean, really, they do it so quickly if you're not able to, kind of keep them at bay. You really can't have negative plays. You can't have turnovers. You have to be able to move the chains. And if you can't do those things, they're going to punish you.
Kicking off is Defoe. Back are Aguilar and Devin Morris. It's going to go out of bounds at the 20-yard line. That will be another Camarillo penalty. As we want to remind you, Ventura Orthopedics has one goal: to get you back in the game. The doctors are well versed in the special orthopedics needs of both the amateur and professional athlete. Many of their physicians currently serve as team doctors for most of the area high schools and community colleges. 20 doctors, 26 physical therapists, all with an athlete's best health performance in mind. Learn more at VenturaOrtho.com today or call to schedule an appointment at 800-698-1280.
A couple score updates here. Moore Park 16-0 at Burbank. Alec Powell, 3-yard touchdown run. Levante Boyd, 3-yard touchdown run to bring Wainimi even with Channel Island, 7-7 in that great rivalry early in the year because they're no longer in the same league. Blake Sturgill, 24-yard touchdown pass to Powell. Powell's got 2 touchdowns in that 16-0 Moore Park lead over Burbank. I nearly gave the score of this game. Don't need to do that. Santa Paula 14, La Cañada 0. Victor Duran, the second touchdown there for Santa Paula. They got a Twitter account. I'm a Twitter that the Santa Paula High Cardinals have joined Twitter for football. Good work, Coach Montoya.
Make sure to follow us at VCS Preps if you want all these area scores throughout the night. You have people covering these games, giving updates, and certainly you want to keep not only the score but all the area scores in mind. Follow us on Twitter, VCS Preps.
Make it 23-0 Moore Park. Drake London, the future USC two-sport star, 15-yard touchdown reception from Blake Sturgill. And Ventura High leads at Santa Barbara 7-6. 70-yard pass from Willis to Klein.
The handoff goes to Aguilar on 1st and 10, a short 2-yard gain, but as we've mentioned, better than a lot of the first down gains so far here. And we've seen a lot today of Bruce Powell-Mathis, not as much of Aguilar here in the early going, but you have to think if this offense is going to start rolling, Devin Morris, Zach Babcock, and Robert Aguilar need to be 3 guys that start to get in sync with the sophomore quarterback, Owen Medina.
Aguilar did gash Santa Barbara last week in the passing game, so we haven't seen any of that yet.
2nd and 8, Medina back to pass, completes to Morris. Morris going wide, picked up, nice full steam ahead, and gets to about the 43-yard line, and it will be 2 yards short of a first down, and it now coming up, well, officially 3rd and 3 is what it's called, so a 5-yard gain for the track star Devin Morris.
Levante Boyd, 4-yard touchdown to give Wainimi the lead against Channel Islands, 14-7. Wainimi ended Channel Islands' long streak in that rivalry last year. They're trying to build on it for 2 in a row this year.
And 3rd and 4 goes to 3rd and 9 as a false start from the Buena offense. And 3rd and 4, pretty manageable. We saw Medina earlier on that sustained drive that fell off short with turnover on downs. When you get in 3rd and medium, the confidence is there. 3rd and 9, now you send this whole Camarillo front with Ceja, White, Moore, and Diaz, and they can pin their ears back. 3rd and 9 it is, and there's that front coming up and making the play for the Camarillo defense was Fletchel Gravel coming from the outside backer spot. A sack occurs, and now it's 4th and 16 and another punt for the Buena Bulldogs.
Yeah, that's a sub player too. That's not a starter. Good job by Gravel to get in there and make a big play on 3rd down.
Yeah, another sophomore. So you're seeing
on film
a couple sophomores. Gravel, not a starter, making a big play, and then another sophomore, Tyler Tonoli, on the back end, the free safety. Fair catch is called by Mason Brown, caught at the 43-yard line, and another possession with good field position upcoming for this Camarillo Scorpions offense. At Ventura Orthopedics, they offer state-of-the-art technology to ensure their patients receive the best care available. Always staying abreast of the latest developments in orthopedic medicine, the doctors and surgeons have been among the first in the community to perform many advanced orthopedic treatments, including total hip replacement. Learn more at VenturaOrtho.com today and let them help get you back in the game. You can hear the Buena Bulldogs band to our right. Student section, spirit squad, they're all around, and they need this defense to step up, down 14-0. Closing stages of the first quarter, the handoff goes to the left side, a pickup of 7 yards on first down as the Camarillo Scorpions get up to midfield. That was a good run, aggressive by Valenzuela.
Well, watch how Tewa Sanchez, the Camarillo offensive coordinator, uses space. We saw the first touchdown was on near side, where everyone's worried about the far side, and they're able to sneak in, a play in near space. This side, on the other side, now look, far side here. There's nobody halfway. Half of the field is free. Watch them go to the right here.
The wide side is the right. 2 wide, 2 tight ends.
Across.
Back to pass. McNamara complete. No, they're going to say incomplete as he did go through the backside. Unable to make the shoestring catch was Peter Defoe, and that could have been a huge gain. Instead, it will bring up a 3rd and 3 with just 4 seconds remaining in the first quarter.
We see so many teams with, who spread it out, who play 4 wide, who kind of chew the tight end position. Camarillo is using multiple tight ends. Moving them around, using motion, really, much more of a pro-style offense.
Mason Brown from the slot, Holden on the near side, and those are generally their top 2 receiving weapons. Single back is Valenzuela. The handoff goes to Valenzuela. He bumps it out for a first down past the 40, inside the 30. There is a penalty flag in the secondary as Valenzuela gets all the way close to the red zone. We'll have to see what the flag is, but that was a nice play. Valenzuela, you said earlier, Joe, using space, and they let that whole wide side of the field available for their big running back to make a play.
That is a foot race there. I don't know what the penalty was. Did he taunt?
We'll have to see, as that will be our final
he
play
was still
of the
running
first
when
quarter.
they threw the flag.
Yeah. Yeah, he was closing in on the red zone. I don't know if maybe it's a hold downfield potentially on one of the Scorpions.
Yep, the referee just held his arm like to make the call.
Yeah, a lot of times maybe a receiver not used to holding on to a defensive back for 20 yards chasing him downfield.
So that's from the 26. I'll come back to the 36 probably, or maybe the 30 to the 40.
Yeah, that's what it looks like it will be from the 30. They'll assess the 10 yards back to the 40-yard line.
Still a first down. That was a 3rd and 3 play that picked up over 20 yards.
Yeah, now they'll assess it, but it could have been a potential 30-plus yard gain. Now the refs are still talking about the specifics as they're huddled up right around the 30-yard line. 14-0, Camarillo leads. It will be a first down regardless, but an interesting way to close out this first quarter regardless.
Kent, this is a good opportunity to say hello and welcome to the Ventura County Star Game of the Week to you, our longtime play-by-play guy, Danny Page, otherwise occupied this season, so you've been elevated. You've been waiting as our backup quarterback for a couple years now. You've filled in when we've need you, when Danny's gone down with a hamstring or a knee, as he does once in a while. But congratulations on your elevation. Danny has graduated, and now we turn to the young buck we had working with the last couple of years.
Yeah,
so
it's been a lot of fun. A lot of fun doing color, getting to work with Danny, yourself, Will Cowan, of course. Later we'll have George Contreras back for most of the season. Anthony Placencia, our producer. It's always a lot of fun. On 1st and 10, the pass is complete down the right side of the field, inside the red zone, all the way down to the 13-yard line. That is a 37-yard gain on the quick pass. And yes, it's great to be here in Ventura County alongside with you, Joe, and of course, Danny Page. He's been the anchor of this broadcast year in and year out, week in and week out. And, of course, we're still using some of his equipment. So he's not dead yet. Without him, it might not be possible to keep doing this. But nonetheless, Danny Page lives on because a lot of the stuff we are using week in and week out, it still has his fingerprints all over it.
For the record, Danny is fine.
Yes. Oh, yes. Yeah, Danny's traveling a lot.
A very successful, no longer young man. He's probably in the middle of the night wherever he is watching this.
Yeah, I remember he said to me earlier, he goes, make sure all that equipment's good to go because over in Europe, I will probably be sleeping by the time the game kicks off. But I wouldn't be surprised if he's up with this broadcast laying next to him as he's trying to get some rest. End of the first quarter, Camarillo. Wake up, Danny Page. 14-0, Camarillo leads. And now, Joe, it's in the red zone, up 14-0, a 37-yard gain after the penalty. And this is a Scorpions team that has committed a lot of penalties so far, but it hasn't seemed to hinder them too much in the early going.
Yeah, really, it's just made the degree of difficulty higher, but they've shown their ability to dig out of some of those holes. They converted a 1st and 21. Really, it's there's going to be plenty of it's going to impact their total yardage count. Buena High had a really good chance to get out of that first quarter with a 1-score game, but Camarillo's just so explosive. We've been complimenting Buena. They've done a decent job, but just a couple plays here, a couple plays there, and Camarillo's on the cusp of a 3-score game here.
And the field position, too. 3 times now, Camarillo started inside opponent's territory or right near midfield. On 1st and 10, a shovel pass inside for a short gain. That time it goes to, I believe, Tyler McCassib, who gets his first touches on the offensive side for Camarillo. That time, you send Mason Brown wide and pitch it inside to McCassib for about maybe a 2-yard gain. Holden and Brown to the near side of the field. Like at the top, they're going to send the tight end Nahar with a touchdown, along with another receiver. Valenzuela is the back, lined up to McNamara's left. In motion comes Holden. A quick pass towards the slot. Mason Brown catches it down to the 4-yard line. That's going to be about a 6-yard gain, and it will set up 3rd and 1.5, it looks like. Maybe 3rd and 1.
So Camarillo in a good spot here. They'll have 2 cracks at a first down. And they're already on the doorstep on the 4-yard line.
Yeah, you have to think Valenzuela. They have a fullback lined up in the eye. Under center for potentially the first time today is McNamara. 3rd and 1, ball on the 4. 14-0 Camarillo. They hand it off to Valenzuela. Has the first down near the goal line, out of bounds inside the 2. It will be 1st and goal upcoming for the Scorpions. And the big fullback coming in that time was Brandon Trotter, normally an inside linebacker, and he helped open that hole.
Yeah, you don't need as many fullbacks as you once did, and so you get to see, sometimes they use a tight end as an H. Sometimes you'll see a defensive player come in and play that role. But yeah, you don't have too many guys out there who fullbacks first time.
Staying in I formation, Holden is the only wide receiver. Valenzuela goes left. The hole is open, and he crosses the goal line for another Camarillo Scorpions touchdown. And Camarillo now goes up 20-0, early stages of the second quarter. And great job up front on those 2 plays. 3rd and short, 1st and goal, and you create holes for your running back Valenzuela.
Yeah, just another really impressive drive by this Camarillo offense, and it's just the beginning for this group. I mean, they're so solid is the number 1 word you heard about this team in the preseason.
Kicker is Gonzalez. Last week, 5 field goals, 5 PATs made and a field goal, and now 3 for 3 is Alice Gonzalez, the female soccer player for the Camarillo Scorpions. Just continues to add points, up to 11 points already on the season, and only 1 missed kick in 2 weeks as Camarillo leads 21-0. Recapping the 3 scores so far, Valenzuela had a 14-yard catch for a touchdown late in the first quarter. 57 seconds later, after a 7-yard punt, Nahar, the tight end, he gets a 30-yard catch down the seam, and then a 2-yard touchdown run from Valenzuela. And all of a sudden, it goes from a tight game for the first 9 minutes. Now it's, you mentioned danger zone when it was 7-0 with the short field. Now it's danger zone 21-0, especially the way the Camarillo defense is playing. That front in particular playing really well.
Alex Gonzalez 3 for 3 on extra points tonight. She's spot kicks like that are not foreign to her. I covered a first-round CIF playoff game last year. Camarillo at Oxnard went to penalty kicks. I put the video in my an old video into the video we produced on Gonzalez this week. She converted the game-winning spot kick. So it's somebody who doesn't just have a good leg. She's also kind of a clutch performer. Able to convert from the spot in a CIF soccer game to lift her team and push it into a playoff game, and through to the next round. And,
it's somebody that almost savors that moment where you say, if you need me to step up and make this play, I can do it on the soccer field, I can do it on the football field. And the fact that she's making all these kicks so far have to give Coach Willard and the staff a lot of confidence going forward. Kickoffs are by Defoe. This one was short, seemed to be for a reason, up to the 30, and taking it all the way past midfield is one of the up men for the Buena Bulldogs. And that was an interesting decision. It looked like kind of a premeditated short kickoff. Returns all the way to the 49-yard line, a 21-yard return, and for the first time all night, really good field position for Buena.
Well, a lot of times, you're in the position. You do that pooch kick because the other team's going to put their hand up and fair catch it, and it's really tough to return that. When you are able to return that, you're able to really benefit.
Powell Mathis with the carry, and once again, a lost yard play on first down. Coming up and making the tackle was Keenan Sanchez, the cornerback for Camarillo. And we do want to mention tonight's game is broadcast both on Facebook Live and VCStar.com. Starting next week, it will be exclusively on VCStar.com. But for tonight, a simulcast on both Facebook Live and VCStar.com.
Buena, 6 first downs tonight, 1 total yard.
2nd and 11. Medina back to pass. Now he'll take off, gets past the original line of scrimmage, picks up 2 yards, and another 3rd and long upcoming for this Buena offense. And for Owen Medina, he's a second game starter. Last week, it was his first ever start against Santa Barbara. And the coaching staff likes him. They say he's a good decision maker. He's somebody who's smart. He's somebody who will grow into this position.
Right.
But it's also a little bit of an unfortunate position for the Buena Bulldogs. You lose your all-league quarterback. Then you lose your backup as he goes to another school. And it does mean a sophomore has to rise to the occasion with all these senior players. And on 3rd and 9, an incomplete pass appeared to be a miscommunication between Medina and the outside receiver for Buena, Robert Buckley. And a 3-and-out up comes after great field position. And now the Bulldogs have to punt where they very much needed to move the ball and continue to try to get close to some points.
You know, in August we have these conversations with coaches where you're asking, you know, what are you doing at the quarterback position? And a lot of times it comes down to, you know, do you want, you know, when they're turning over that position, you're dealing with, you know, do we go with the sophomore? Do we go with the senior that may be a little more physically developed, but they're at the same experience level? And a lot of these coaches, and Coach Bolin made this decision just a couple weeks ago, you go with the talented, inexperienced sophomore because it's an investment in your program's future. If you can, you know, take this first month, you know, maybe the first, you know, half of the season, especially in CIF, the way the situation is where your playoff destiny is only really determined by league performance. You know, more and more these days, it's really hard for wild card teams to make the tournament, and so you can really take that first half of your schedule and break in a sophomore, and you're not only better off this year, but you're better off the next 2 years, and that's what Buena's doing with the sophomore quarterback they have.
Yeah, and we've seen tonight and both last week. He's making good decisions.
Mm-hmm.
It's just right now you have to figure out the varsity level, which is drastically different than JV, and being a starter and having the whole team on your side. There's a fumble, and it looks like it's recovered by the Buena Bulldogs on 1st and 10. Just when they needed a play, the defense comes up, Strix McNamara, and coming up and making the play is Adam Paramo for the Buena Bulldogs, recovers the fumble, and for the first time all night, the Buena Bulldogs are in the red zone, and a huge play defensively from this Bulldog squad.
You know, another one of those guys up front. Buena, you know, we talk about inexperience there at the skill positions. They've got some guys up front. They're, you know, one of the better teams in the West County.
All seniors, too. All senior guys that have been there, done that on the defensive front. 3
guys who are returning starters. All 5 guys have experience. So that's their strength. Oh, boy.
And you mentioned how first down, the most they've gained is 1 yard.
Now you're negative.
Now 5 yards backs you up, so even if you pick up 5, it's the equivalent of picking up nothing. And that time you had 2 guys in the backfield in motion, and that's not going to do you a lot of good. Both teams have committed a lot of penalties tonight, but for the Buena Bulldogs, they were in the red zone. Now they're out of the red zone. 1st and 15, ball on the 23.
I like this.
This time it's going to go to the wide side, and Devin Morris gets the ball, and he's their speedster, the track guy, relay champion, and they need to see more of Devin Morris here tonight. Robert Aguilar, we've talked about a bunch, but that was only a 3-yard gain, sets up 2nd and 12. 8:40 remaining in the second quarter. Camarillo leads Buena 21-0. 2nd and 12.
Morris is still out
Morris still out there at quarterback, and they hand it off to Powell Mathis. A good pickup of about 3 yards, and it will be 3rd and 9 coming up for the Buena Bulldogs. So an interesting decision these last 2 plays, putting Morris back there, snapping it to him, and letting him decide where the ball goes.
I like that first play because it was super quick. You know, before you could really realize he was out there, he was running at you.
Morris again. The ball is not tucked too much, but he throws it downfield complete, and catching it was Troy Lorith, the senior 6'2 receiver, and now it'll be 4th and about 5. So a good 5-yard pickup there. And how about Morris on that one? He had that ball out there like a loaf of bread, but he tucks it quickly, and then he finds Loris about 3 yards ahead of the line of scrimmage, and it's now 4th and 4, and it looks like they will set up what will be a 30-yard field goal attempt.
Get the video
by
out.
Talon Butterball.
History here.
Butterball last week, just 2 recorded PATs, and it's blocked. Coming up and making the block was Mason Brown. Brown does everything for this Camarillo team, and why would it be any different on special teams? The 30-yard field goal attempt blocked by Brown, and another possession where Buena leaves with nothing.
Mason Brown does not want me to have a good story tonight.
Well, he wants you to have another story with him.
His own story, right?
Yeah, you already gave him last week play of the week. He wants another one. Maybe he's trying to get more plays of the week each week.
Big time play, blocking a field goal like that, keeping them off the scoreboard, keeping the momentum in Camarillo's direction.
Yeah, after the 21-0 lead, you get the big defensive play and then nothing to show for it on offense. The handoff goes to Valenzuela, pickup of about 4 yards. On first down will set up 2nd and 6. Ventura Orthopedics is proud to support the collegiate and high school athletic teams in the community. The doctors serve as team physicians for most of high school and college sports programs in the area, whether assisting with game injuries or cheering for players from the sidelines. The doctors at Ventura Orthopedics consider it a privilege to be part of the team.
I'll get us some scores here in a second.
2nd and 6, 7 minutes remaining in the second quarter. Camarillo with the ball, up 21-0. The pass goes across the middle to Nahar, just like the touchdown earlier. He goes streaking upfield, a big gain of 41 yards, and that time Nahar steps up, crosses midfield, and a huge play coming from the tight end spot again. And I feel like Coach Willard and this staff has seen something on film that says we can go up the gut, fake it, and find our tight end streaking upfield and getting an open play, an easy pitch and catch once again.
Yeah, like I said, Buena likes to bring pressure with those linebackers. You're attacking those linebackers with play action, sucking them up and attacking the space behind them, and that's what they've done with those pop passes.
1st and 10, the handoff to Valenzuela. He cuts back beautifully. There is a flag in the backfield. This will most likely be coming back. Another flag down in the secondary. What a great vision job by Valenzuela to see that there was nothing to the left, cut back and go right. But this will be all for nothing as there are 2 flags, most likely holding in the backfield and then holding downfield from the receiver.
Jesse Valenzuela is such a quick athlete. There's this speed of legs, there's quickness, but there's also quickness in thought. He sees the space, he's in the space really quick. It's like that
aggressive quickness.
It's like that first touchdown. The ball is coming to him. He already knows, and it doesn't take him time to gather and go. He's already going. He's breaking through the hole. As the space is there, not as it's closing down.
Yeah, and you can see he's upset. He knew he made a play in which he probably didn't need the illegal hold, and instead it's going to back them up close to midfield. And again, another Camarillo penalty. This has become a theme all game as it backs them up to the 40-yard line. 6:21 remaining, second quarter. We are at Buena High School, the Ventura Orthopedics Game of the Week from the Ventura County Star, Joe Curley and Kent Brown here on the call. 21-0, Camarillo with the lead and driving 1st and 10 from the Buena 40-yard line. Valenzuela, the single back. 2 wide to the left, 2 to the right. The handoff goes to Valenzuela, and a great job by the Bulldogs front. Coming up and making the play was Abraham Friend. Friend is one of the starting cornerbacks, and that's now the second play he's made coming up from that secondary and making a big play. A loss of 1. It's 2nd and 11.
All right, now Camarillo's in the position that Buena's been in a lot today, which you've got 2nd down and long, and but they don't. This offense doesn't matter. We saw them convert a 1st and 21. With the guys they have on the field, 2nd and 11 can feel like 2nd and 1.
And big play guys all over the field for this offense. It has to help the junior quarterback, James McNamara. 2nd and 11, under center, fakes it to Valenzuela, looking for Holden. Holden catches it at the 35, out of bounds at about the 30-yard line. That will be a first down, officially out at the 29. Move the sticks. It's a first down for Camarillo. And as we just said, 2nd and 11 now becomes a 12-yard gain for first.
Just pitch and catch. And, you know, that now they're in.
Well, actually, they're going to say he stepped out around the 33. It looked like he turned upfield, must have had his toe on the sideline. So it's 3rd and 2 for the Scorpions. In motion is Nahar, going from right to left. Tight next to the left tackle. Valenzuela has the handoff. Missing the play was Tafoya. Valenzuela spins near the marker, has the first down, but the ball is out, and there is a huge pile up. And now we will see if it's the black shirts of Buena or the white shirts of Camarillo who come up with it. And based on the fact that there's not a lot of cheering on the Buena side, Camarillo has recovered the fumble. So first down, and a good job that time. You just mentioned the aggressive quickness and the assertiveness of Valenzuela on that play. Tafoya nearly got him in the backfield, got away, and then spun his way for the first down.
Decisiveness. You know, his legs are quick enough to get him in the hole, and his mind is quick enough, you know, to tell his legs to get him in the hole. And, you know, those combinations together is what makes a great running back.
5:04 remaining in the second quarter, 21-0. 1st and 10 for Camarillo, ball on the 28. McNamara back to pass. There is another flag down, flips it off to Valenzuela. He turns it inside the 10, down to the 5, near the goal line. Looks like he'll be marked down at the 1, but this could be the second play this quarter that comes back after a huge Valenzuela gain, assuming it's on the offense again, and they're going to call a motion penalty, false start for Camarillo, so another play negated by a Scorpions penalty. What's that, probably about 7 or 8 penalties maybe already for Camarillo? They're starting to add up.
You know, Santa Barbara, very similar, or excuse me, Buena, very similar position than they were last week at Santa Barbara. It was 28-0 at the half. A lot of that was kind of, you know, self-inflicted, and they weren't really, they weren't really able to move the ball. This first half they've played much better, but it shows you the quality of Camarillo that, you know, on the scoreboard maybe it hasn't made that much of an impact just because, you know, Camarillo's ability to punish them that much further.
And they came up with a huge turnover last possession. You think you turn it over, ball at the 19, you're going to get some points, and nothing became of it. 1st and 15. McNamara, great pocket to throw from.
Got him.
Across the middle, complete to Carter Alexander, and Alexander, touchdown, Camarillo, 27-0, and that was a 33-yard strike and a great pocket. McNamara stepped back, waited for his target to come open, and Carter Alexander, the junior, with a big gain. He's had a couple today, and that was a huge strike from the Scorpions.
Yeah, we've mentioned a couple times, you know, penalties, mistakes, you know, it doesn't affect Camarillo. They shrug it off, they make the next play, and they take advantage.
Once again, we have Gonzalez in for the place kicking. 3 of 3 today on PATs. Snap back, hold down. Gonzalez's kick is up, and it is good. And now it's a Camarillo 28-0 lead as we approach the 4-minute mark of the second quarter. 20 doctors with 5 locations in Ventura County, all with one goal in mind: to get you back in the game. Ventura Orthopedics specializes in sports medicine, general orthopedics, pain management, pediatric, and MRI. Ventura Orthopedics offers exceptional therapy services featuring 26 highly skilled physical and occupational therapists. Learn more at venturaortho.com or call to schedule an appointment at 800-698-1280. That's 800-698-1280. Alexander with that touchdown. It's now 3 touchdown passes today for James McNamara. 1 to Valenzuela, 1 to Nahar, and now Alexander with the 3rd touchdown catch of the day. That one goes for 33 yards, and this game is busted wide open with the Camarillo Scorpions sensing the fact that offensively they can get going no matter down and distance, and for Buena, they need something in a hurry here on offense. The kick falls at the 21. Aguilar has it, now cuts up. Actually, it's going to be pardon me, it was not
Devin
Aguilar,
Morris.
Devin Morris, and he returns it up to the 33. So about a 10-yard return, and with a 4-possession deficit, the Buena Bulldogs, now something has to start, and we started this from the beginning where we said the lack of first down productivity has hurt this Buena squad. They can ill afford for that to happen in this possession.
And again, you know, you have to point out it 28-0, 28-0. It looks like Buena's in the same situation they were a week ago in Santa Barbara, but really, you know, they're playing a vastly superior opponent. I think they've improved. They've played better. It just doesn't, you know, you just can't tell by the scoreboard.
Owen Medina hands it off to Morris. Morris was in at quarterback that last possession, and that was an interesting decision from Coach Bolin and the staff. You're in the red zone, and you decide to put in your wide receiver all-purpose guy to get the snaps on first, second, third down. This time it was Medina handing it off to Morris and a pickup of 5. Their best first down play all night.
It is, you know, it's interesting. You've got a quick change. You're trying to, you know, put in a gadget set, and maybe take advantage, get Camarillo kind of looking around, you know, something they haven't seen on film. And really, it was just the play that they made on the outside on that first down. Morris had a chance to go, and Camarillo just strung it out and was able to survive and win and get to the next play, and then they were able to bounce back.
After the 5-yard rush, making an 8-yard rush on 2nd and 5 from Morris. And so Devin Morris, the tailback on these last 2 plays, and a good gain, move the chains, 1st and 10 for the Buena Bulldogs. And they needed something like this. There's no doubt about it. With a sophomore quarterback, with a 28-point deficit, a good first down gain, a great second down gain, and a 1st and 10 as the clock winds to 3 minutes remaining in the second quarter. You are watching the Ventura Orthopedics Game of the Week from the Ventura County Star at Buena High School Stadium. Joe Curley and Kent Brown here live on the call. Back to passes Medina. It was a lateral and a huge hit coming up and making the play. Grady Liddell, the strong safety, emphasis on strong on that play, lit up the receiver, and it's a loss of about 5, make it 6, and it will set up 2nd and 16. How about that? He saw it from the start, and then that's what you're taught. Hit the receiver and knock him down where he can knock it up. That was a huge defensive play by Liddell.
Yeah, really good read. You know, the play. You know, the moment the ball snapped, he knows where to go. He reads the play. He's there before the ball gets there, and really nice play. 2nd
and 16, 2:05 remaining in the quarter. Another potential lateral, and coming up and making the play on the other side of the field was another defensive back, and that one probably about a 4-yard loss, so it will be 3rd and 20. So without penalties, they're backing up on 2 completions, and these defensive backs are coming up and making plays. Liddell on the last one, and then this one, another one of his mates from the secondary, a huge 6-yard loss, then a 4-yard loss, and now for Buena, they are in 3rd and forever.
Yeah, this defense is creeping up, making plays at the line of scrimmage.
Medina, the quarterback, from the shotgun. Back to pass, throws it deep. Intercepted at the 46-yard line. Coming up and making the pick for the Camarillo defense was Tyler McCassib. McCassib, the junior starting cornerback, saw the throw. There was not quite the zip needed to get to the receiver, and McCassib turns them over, and good field position once again with just 1:20 remaining for the Camarillo Scorpions.
Plenty of time left to put that final nail in the coffin here.
Especially quick strike. Mason Brown, you've seen the heart tonight with already 2 receptions for over 30 yards. And then don't forget Alexander and Holden. They have the weapons. And then, of course, Valenzuela, he's a home run hitter every time. 1st and 10, 1:20 remaining. Buena High Stadium. Camarillo Scorpions 1-0 in the season, leading the Buena Bulldogs 0-1. Back to pass is McNamara. Good pocket. Now it's starting to pressure through, and coming up and making the play from the front. That time, I believe it was Adam Paramo for the Buena defense making the play. That's his 2nd sack of the game, and he's the one. There's been a lot of good players on that front, but Paramo has now gotten to McNamara twice.
Yeah, he had that fumble recovery as well.
Yeah, he's been a big-time player here tonight for this Buena defense. The clock continues to wind. Under 50 seconds. 2nd and 16. McNamara, lone back is not Valenzuela. This time they're going to give it to Devin Long, his first carry of the game. So Long gets his first touch, and maybe at this point, Camarillo might just be thinking, get to the half up 28-0.
You get the sack on first down. You know, that's the play that Buena needed to really kind of take any, any idea of Camarillo marching down the field out of their, then they run the ball on second down, and then we're headed to the headed to halftime, 28-0. Second game in a row, Buena has headed to the half down, 28-0. But I think Coach Bolin and his group, much more encouraging signs in week 2. Some lessons learning out there, and then on the other side of the field, Camarillo High.
Camarillo 28.
Not ready to call them a juggernaut yet, but really, a solid football team that's showing great potential in 2018.
28-0 is your halftime score from Buena High Stadium. The Scorpions lead the Bulldogs. We will step aside here for the Ventura Orthopedics Game of the Week from the Ventura County Star.
Hi, I'm Dr. Ali Motamedi with Ventura Orthopedics. I am a board-certified orthopedic surgeon in sports medicine and orthopedic surgery. I'm going to talk to you about knee injuries in football. There are 4 major ligaments around the knee, but 2 are the most commonly injured, and that's the MCL, the medial collateral ligament, and also the ACL, the anterior cruciate ligament. MCL is typically the injury that is from a contact when someone's tackled and the knee gets hyperextended or twisted. It results in pain and sense of instability. Typically, it's treated non-operatively with physical therapy, bracing, and anti-inflammatories, and the football players usually are able to get back once the symptoms are resolved, and that takes about 4 to 6 weeks most of the time. The more serious injury is the injury to the anterior cruciate ligament. Most of the time, those are as a result of hyperextension or pivoting non-contact injuries. The football player feels a pop, the knee gives out, and they fall, and they have immediate swelling and pain. The initial phase is to treat the swelling and pain and get the range of motion back. But if the football player has ambitions to return to football and athletic activities that require side-to-side motion and twisting activities, they need to have it fixed. And that's typically a major operation called an ACL reconstruction. Recovery to return to sport from that injury is typically 6 months, sometimes up to 9 months before the football players are allowed to return to full sports. All right, be safe out there. Thank you.
suena rap. Scooby-Doo, pa, pa. Y el pum, 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 pum. Y el pum, 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 pum. Y el pum, 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 pum. Pum, 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 pum. Y la cosa suena rap, 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 rap. Scooby-Doo, pa, pa. Y el pum, 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 pum.
More.
and it started often and early where it was passing lanes open, great pocket, and in particular, James McNamara finding a ton of different receivers.
Yeah, I got James McNamara, 12 of 15 for 238 yards, 3 touchdowns, 7 different receivers, none more than 3. The leader is Jack Holden, 3 catches, 59 yards. Obviously, we had Nahar, the tight end, had 2 big plays on those pop passes. We saw a lot of, was it Alexander as well?
Yeah. Carter Alexander stepped up with a touchdown.
Carter Alexander, Valenzuela had a touchdown run, Nahar had a touchdown reception. So Camarillo, 12 first downs, close to 300 yards of total offense, 261. On the other side, Buena, 54 yards of total offense, almost all of that coming on the one drive where they drove down to the 23 and then stalled. Really, Buena had 2 great chances to score, got no points on either of them, and that's how, potentially a 1-score game late in the first half is really, a 3-4 score game, 28-0 for the second straight week for Buena. Certainly some strides, I think, some of the young skill position players showed some growth up front. They certainly look like they've got, one of the best lines in Ventura County. If they can kind of get some of those younger skilled players going, they may have something here by the time they reach, I almost said Channel League play. We haven't even mentioned it yet. Buena, first year in the Pacific View League, a whole new ball game in the western half of Ventura County. We can get to that kind of in the second half. Camarillo, obviously, no longer in the Marmani League. I think I mentioned it in the first half. I've been saying that all. They're in the Camino League now, which certainly, maybe one of the most competitive leagues around. They certainly Camarillo looks like one of the best teams in Ventura County. A showcase performance tonight in the first game of the week of the 2018 season for the Ventura County Star, and we are for the second half.
Valenzuela is the deep man, awaiting the kickoff. It's a short pooch kick, and will be caught at the 30-yard line, and it is Mason Brown. Brown trying to cut it upfield past the 30, all the way to the 46-yard line, a 16-yard return for Mason Brown. Ventura Orthopedics has one goal: to get you back in the game. The doctors are well versed in the special orthopedics needs of both the amateur and professional athlete. Many of the physicians currently serve as team doctors for most of the area's high schools and community college. 20 doctors, 26 physical therapists, all with an athlete's best health performance in mind. Learn more at VenturaOrtho.com today, or call to schedule an appointment at 800-698-1280. First and 10, ball on the 46. Another good starting field position for the Camarillo Scorpions to open this third quarter. They've been midfield or close to it on 4 different drives. Valenzuela takes it to the left.
Look at him go.
To the races, 30, 20, 10, 5, touchdown. Jesse Valenzuela takes it 54 yards on the first play of the third quarter, and we talked about Buena needing to step up in this third quarter, and it was a great return off a short kick, and then Valenzuela did the rest. His second rushing touchdown of the game, 3rd overall score.
Yeah, we talked about the quick strike ability of the Camarillo offense, certainly through Valenzuela, he provided that opening the second half with really a knockout blow, 35-0. After Alex Gonzalez up to convert this PAT, chipping it in.
Gonzalez gets her 5th extra point of the game, and with that it's now 35-0. The Camarillo Scorpions lead the Buena Bulldogs, and this is a Camarillo team last year 5-6. As you mentioned, a couple plays away from potentially having a much better season. Week 1, they were dominant in their victory over Rio Mesa 51-7, and today they seem to leave right off where they were in Week 0.
And Valenzuela up over the 100-yard mark, 103 yards on 11 carries, and really Camarillo, they kind of burst on the scene last year. They had that great season a couple of years ago, had one, kind of rebuilding, putting it back together year, and then, last year really putting it together and kicking butt.
11:14 remaining in the third quarter. A quick strike drive from the Camarillo Scorpions. The kickoff goes to the 20, and it's finally picked up past the 30, and now all the way up to the 38-yard line. A good return by Devin Morris, and the Buena Bulldogs have pretty good field position.
We see Valenzuela doing it. Devin Morris is also another, smaller, quick athlete that can play in space and really make plays in the open field. We saw him with a kick return for a touchdown last year.
1st and 10, ball on the 38-yard line. Nothing doing for the Buena Bulldogs. Another one of those first down stops from the Camarillo defense.
It gives Aguilar the right side.
Yeah, Camarillo defense really, really we should probably go through this whole group. I mean, they've been very good up front against a really good Buena offensive line, and the linebacking core, really moving into the holes and shutting space down.
Yeah, the heart of the defense, as Coach Willard said, with Lazaro, Carter, Lithgow, and Anderson for the Buena Bulldogs. Now another nothing-doing play. First down, stuffed for 0. Second down, stuffed for a -1 loss. And now this is that dangerous territory of 3rd and long upcoming for the Bulldogs. Once again, it's been this way all game. The one possession we saw a sustained drive. They got in 3rd and medium and were able to convert. Nothing doing so far here to start the 3rd. Medina throws it to an open space, and his receiver's not able to break on the play as the slot guy, Robert Buckley, incomplete, and a 3-and-out, and the clock continues to run as it is a 35-0 lead for the Scorpions, and that time it was that Scorpions front that won the battle of the line of scrimmage.
And it's another empty possession for Buena. They've only been able to move the chains on 2 of now their 8 possessions in this game, and that's really, Buena will have made the transition from being a young team when they can really kind of move. What a play by Mason Brown.
Yeah, a little dangerous.
To field that punt. Gutsy to even attempt it, and he really did it. He made it look easy.
Yeah, if anybody has that level of ability on this team, it's definitely Mason Brown. At Ventura Orthopedics, they offer state-of-the-art technology to ensure their patients receive the best care available. Always staying abreast of the latest developments in orthopedic medicine, the doctors and surgeons have been among the first in the community to perform many advanced orthopedic treatments, including total hip replacement. Learn more at VenturaOrtho.com today and let them help you get back in the game. 1st and 10, Camarillo from their own 39 with a 35-0 lead as the clock winds to 8:57 remaining in the 3rd. McNamara throws a slip screen to Mason Brown. Brown makes 1 man miss, now 2, now 3, and he gets all the way up near the first down marker. Gain of about 9 or 10, and how about that? 3 guys shake and bake, make a miss, and pick up about 9 yards for 2nd and short.
Telling you, there's a little Dante Martin there.
He makes guys miss in a phone booth, and that time it was 3 consecutive phone booth misses. And Mason Brown, the acrobatic play on the punt return, and a great 9-yard gain on 1st down. Now with the handoff, it is Valenzuela again, up the left side. Deja vu, Valenzuela in for a 52-yard touchdown. And how about that? Actually make it 62 yards. Valenzuela goes for 54, and now he follows it up with a 62-yard gain. Didn't get touched on either.
He's so fast, it's hard to get there. He really is so quick into the hole. And
Valenzuela, 4 touchdowns on the night.
They put the points on the wrong side of the scoreboard. I was wondering, when did Buena score?
Yeah. They want to put up something. Gonzalez, once again, back for her 6th PAT attempt. This one goes up and through to make it 42-0. 42-0, 8:03 remaining. And it is a 6-touchdown lead for the Camarillo Scorpions. And Valenzuela, he has 4 touchdowns now, a 2-yard rush, a 54-yard rush, a 62-yard rush, and then a 14-yard catch. How about the game? We talked about all the receivers making plays in the first half.
Yeah.
Now it's the tailback, untouched down the left sideline twice in the first 4 minutes.
What a playmaker. I mean, really, doesn't out of his pads, he may not look like a football player, but holy crap, can he can get into space and blow by, the opposite. Really, just like we said, quick of mind, quick of body, and, just really tough competitor.
42-0. Back are Aguilar and Devin Morris. Kicking off once again is the wide receiver and kickoff specialist Peter Defoe, who has a catch today. Defoe from the 40. Up to about the 24-yard line. It lands. This is a live ball, and it appears that the Camarillo Scorpions have come up with the football. How about that? It lands at the 20, bounces back to the 26, and then coming up and making the play for Camarillo, Santino Razzo, the defensive end, scoops the ball up. That ends up being about a 50-yard gain, and it's 1st and 10 for Camarillo from the 27-yard line.
Camarillo nearly did that twice against Rio Mesa last week too. I mean, this special teams group can do it. We talked about Tewa Sanchez. We talked about some of the this great coaching staff. Dennis Reedmiller, special teams coach, former Camarillo High. Former Camarillo High head coach. So they've certainly. One of the better coaching staffs around.
James McNamara, one back, is Valenzuela. Actually, they're now going to the backup Devin Long. It's thrown to the right side, incomplete, intended for Holden. So we're probably going to see more of Long here with Valenzuela, 4 touchdowns. Definitely a guy you do not want getting injured in the early stages of your season.
Yeah, 12 carries, 156. 4 TDs. You said we could take a break.
Yeah.
Sit down. You've done your job.
42-0. You almost wonder how much more McNamara has in this game as well. 7:28 remaining, third quarter, 42-0. Scorpions lead. Same formation as the last one with Devin Long, the sophomore running back. They hand it off to Long. He picks up about 5 yards and will set up 3rd and medium for the Scorpions. You are watching the Ventura Orthopedics Game of the Week from the Ventura County Star. Make sure to check us out all night at VCS Preps on Twitter. And also, we are simulcasting this on both Facebook Live and VCStar.com here tonight. Next week, exclusively on VCStar.com. Under center is McNamara. The H-back is lined up to the right side of the tailback. Long gets the carry, goes left. A short gain. Maybe no gain. A great job coming up and making the play for the Buena Bulldogs. And that is big number 56, Adam Paramo again. He has had himself quite a game on the defensive side.
We're going to give Gonzalez a chance to kick this. We're talking about 40 yards. No.
They're saying only third down, but you can see down there on the score, it is 4th down officially. The scoreboard just switched it back.
Yeah.
So 4th and 6.
And 2 runs by Long.
It would be a lengthy field goal attempt of about 41 yards. In the shotgun is McNamara. Good pocket. Throws it across the middle. Complete inside the 10-yard line. A great catch making the play, Tyler McCassib. McCassib already has an interception on the defensive side and now has had his second offensive touch of the game. Had a quick catch earlier today, I believe, and now a 1st down catch and steps up 1st and goal from the 10.
Yeah, you're converting 4th downs like that, up 42-0. You're rolling. Hard for Buena to get off the field. And
a good pocket. That time McNamara stepped into that throw, found McCassib, and a big-time strike from the junior quarterback. 1st and goal, ball just inside the 10. Long remains the running back. They hand it to Devin Long. Long cuts it up inside the 5, down to the 3-yard line. A very good gain on 1st and goal.
The right side, tripped up, down around the 2, 3-yard line.
2nd and goal, ball on the 3, not wasting any time. McNamara from the gun, Long to his left. Long gets the carry, and he rushes it near the goal line, stuffed inside, and that was the very big number 74, Carlos Avila, 394 pounds, stepping up and making the play for the Buena Bulldogs. He came in and bulldozed Devin Long and kept him out of the end zone. 3rd and goal from the 1. Under center is McNamara. 2 wide to the short side of the field. Long gets it, and Long is near the goal line, stayed on top of the defense, and scores the 1-yard touchdown with 4:43 remaining in this 3rd quarter. It is now a 48-0 Camarillo lead.
Yeah, really good job of Buena by kind of holding off and making Camarillo work for that. When you give up a muff, you're down 6 touchdowns. The just giving up a touchdown, a big play, and then it's tough to get back out there. And it looked like they almost had him stopped, and they kind of wrapped him into the end zone.
Yeah, it looks like on top.
I'd like to see a replay of that, Anthony.
He stayed on top of the defender. It looked like, kept his balance, and then worked his way towards the goal line. Offsides are going to decline the penalty. Alex Gonzalez, we mentioned earlier, this game has 2 female kickers. Taylin Butterbaugh for the Buena Bulldogs, and then Alex Gonzalez, 5 for 6 on PATs last week, 1 for 1 on her lone field goal attempt, and now she has just punched through her 7th PAT today. That is 12 extra points made in a field goal in 2 weeks, and 49-0 lead. You almost wonder at this point if any of the starters, or very few, are going to remain in this game. We've already seen Valenzuela go in, probably take his night the rest of the way for Long, and how about McNamara? He's had a great game, and then the second half, of course, Valenzuela has been so good this entire 3rd quarter. They didn't even need him on that drive, and they still score a touchdown.
They're up over 400 yards of total offense, and, really now you're in a position to kind of get your younger guys some work. We'll see if good.
Ventura Orthopedics is proud to support the collegiate and high school athletic teams in the community. The doctors serve as team physicians for most of the high school and college coaches in the area. Whether assisting with game injuries or cheering for players from the sidelines, the doctors at Ventura Orthopedics consider it a privilege to be part of the team. Kickoff is to the 10-yard line. It's Aguilar returning it all the way up to the 28-yard line, and the Buena Bulldogs will start off with decent field position, down 49-0. Now we will see Medina does remain in at quarterback for this team, and I know you talked about, Joe, that this is about getting experience for the sophomore quarterback. It's not been entirely one player never loses or wins you a game. Medina's a good decision maker, but you've seen tonight it's been this defensive front on 1st down all game that has stymied this Bulldogs attack.
Really difficult position for Buena entering this season. You're going up against in Santa Barbara, a senior quarterback who's really, really tough.
1st down completion goes to the wide side to Robert Buckley. Buckley picks up about 7 yards. Will set up 2nd and 3.
And then you're playing arguably the toughest team on your schedule. Maybe this team or Pacifica or Oxnard. Maybe probably the toughest team Buena is going to face all year.
3 minutes remaining in the 3rd quarter. A good carry. Picks up a 1st down and moves the chains. Only the 3rd possession today that Buena's had a 1st down. So a good rush.
I think we're at the position in this broadcast where, we mentioned Danny Page, our long time for more than a decade, right? Play-by-play announcer. How long have we been doing this, Anthony?
Well, Danny's about 55.
7 years?
Danny might have been doing it 25 years.
Danny was a zygote when he started, and now he's middle-aged. So we've been doing this 7 years. Danny was our play-by-play guy, and he's busy with business interests this year. He's not going to be back. We also lost our main color guy, as he likes to be that guy on the field.
The coach, the coach on the field.
And Will Cowan, former Ventura College athletic director, former Pacifica High and Ventura College basketball coach, Pacifica High football coach, gets a tremendous opportunity to be an assistant coach and athletic director at Florida State University, the women's basketball program. Is really a behind-the-scenes skills based player development specialist, just a tremendous, skills development is such an important aspect of athletics in any sport, certainly in basketball and the sport we're watching right now, football, and very important to have that sort of player at a Division I, that sort of coach at a Division I program. Will is joining one of the better women's basketball programs in the country, one of the biggest athletic departments in the entire country. What an amazing opportunity for him, and so we will miss him while he was in Tallahassee. I do know he is watching tonight, so certainly he misses us a little bit. When you look at the talent that we've had in this broadcast the first 7 years,
they fake the 3rd and 11, 4th and 11 punt, taking off, getting short, only about 2 yards, so another turnover on downs. You have to kind of risk it, but yes, with Will up in Tallahassee, I'm a Miami grad, so you look at that state of Florida, there is a definite divide. My twin brother is a Florida State guy. My brother and I are both Miami guys. Yeah, my twin brother proudly wears his 2013 Florida State National Champion shirt.
Your brother went to Florida State and you went to Miami when you guys...
Me and my older brother both went to Miami, and we have no love lost
Nobody
for
went
the
to
Seminoles.
Pitt?
Well, it's funny. My twin brother also went to Pitt as well,
okay.
So he covers both Florida State and Pitt in addition. But that's a great athletic program. Tallahassee, they love their sports there. You get the influx now of Willie Taggart back in the state for football, kind of rejuvenating that program. I think will fit into Tallahassee. He talked about all his escapades down in Nashville a couple years ago, and it's similar. It's a southern vibe there in Tallahassee, and great on Will. I think the week of Miami, Florida State, I'm going to have to send him a few texts and give him a little bit of flack, the fact that he's now a Seminole. But overall, we look forward to Will continuing to listen to our broadcast and him doing good work there with the Florida State women's basketball program.
I know they've got a tremendous recruiting class in this year, and they've got a huge commitment. They've got 2 huge commitments for the class of next year's class.
2019.
And so this year's team is supposed to be good. They're supposed to really be in a position to take the step forward and be one of the better programs, be a real contender, be a Final Four contender, maybe next year. So I know Will's really excited about what they've got going on there. Maybe almost as excited as he's only a couple hours from Destin. So I know that there's a lot of that corner of the country that Will's excited to explore.
Well, my brother is now up. He just moved to Ponte Vedra Beach up there. So if Will wants to make his way up towards Jacksonville, there's another Brown brother he can meet up there. So, and look, this, as you mentioned, this broadcast, we had my first year with this crew. You had Derry Eads doing the color along with myself, Danny doing play-by-play. Will, the coach on the field, always gave us great insight. Sometimes we said, Will, you got to get one play call into one of these games. And I wouldn't doubt if he threw 1 or 2 out there to some of these coaches. But it's great to see him down in Tallahassee doing his thing with the Florida State athletic program.
Talking about Tallahassee and Destin and Ponte Vedra, we need to point out in this broadcast that all those beaches aren't anything compared to what we've got out here. So Will can have Florida. You and your brother can have Florida. I'm going to keep
I live out here.
Ventura County. I'm going to keep what we've got out here in this this part of California.
Oh yeah.
Certainly for my money, the greatest place to live in the world, and I'm sure everybody listening to this broadcast understands what I'm talking about.
I was just back out east, and that humidity is definitely something that you have to adjust to.
Yeah, who needs that?
2nd and 4, ball on the 36-yard line. Getting the handoff is Devin Long once again up past the 32, right near the first down marker. And into the game at quarterback now is, for Camarillo, it looks to be Evan Schweers, a senior.
Number 5?
Number 5, Evan Schweers. He's listed as a wide receiver on their depth chart, but they're getting him some time here at quarterback. He's a 6-foot senior. Long is the sophomore tailback. On 3rd and 1, the ball is handed off for a first down, pickup of 2 yards. As we approach the 11-minute mark remaining here in this 4th quarter. You are, of course, watching the Ventura Orthopedics Game of the Week from the Ventura County Star. Follow us on Twitter at VCS Preps. Tonight, we're on both Facebook Live and VCStar.com. From Buena High School, Joe Curley, Kent Brown on the call. 1st and 10 for Camarillo. It's a 49-0 lead. as some of the backups are starting to get significant playing time. The first handoff of the game, first carry for Jason Garcia. Garcia, pickup of 1, will set up 2nd and 9.
Let me go through some of these scores here. Santa Barbara just took a 21-14 lead over Ventura. That will obviously, people from Buena still watching this broadcast will hearten them a little bit. Grace is destroying Granada Hills 45-0. Oaks Christians up 38-0. Channel Islands has bounced back and taken a 27-13 lead over rival Wainimi in one of the big games tonight. Channel Islands had the ball for just 1 play in the 3rd quarter, a 60-yard touchdown. Coach Porter and that group bouncing back after a loss to Wainimi last year. Moore Park 44-0. It seems like we got blowout city everywhere.
Yeah, week 1 blowouts.
Except for maybe that Wainimi CI game.
Well, next week, I think we're going to see quite a game. Next week, we'll have Oxnard and Westlake here on our Ventura Orthopedics Game of the Week from the Ventura County Star, and that should be a really fun one. We'll have George Contreras back in the booth for that call. On 3rd and 10, a huge run inside the red zone, down to the 6-yard line. And whether it's Valenzuela or Long, it does not matter. A huge pickoff here, picked up about 20 to 25 yards, and will set up 1st and goal from the 6.
I think that was 87, the tight end.
They're trying to get it. Everybody's getting a carry at this point. If it was, that was certainly one of several big plays for Nahar. He had a few in the passing game. 1st and goal, ball on the 6. Quarterback hands it off down to the 4-yard line, and it is Evan Schweers, the quarterback. He's a 6-foot senior, 165 pounds, listed as a wide receiver and a free safety as the clock continues to wind. 20 doctors, 5 locations in Ventura County, all with one goal in mind, to get you back in the game. Ventura Orthopedics specializes in sports medicine, general orthopedics, pain management, pediatric, and MRI.
How about this? Anybody that's out here at Buena, it's still the first half across the street at Ventura College, where St. Bonaventure and Bishop Diego are playing a very good game. 7-3 St. Bonaventure late in the first half. And so that might be a decent place to go after the game. Yeah, just across the street at Ventura College.
Nightcap. Yep.
You got two, St. Bonaventure kind of up and coming with what they've got going on over there. Bishop Diego obviously, made a nice CIF run.
7 minutes remaining. The handoff goes for about a 1-yard loss on the play. I want to mention once again Ventura Orthopedics. You can learn more about them at venturaortho.com or call to schedule an appointment at 800-698-1280 here on our Ventura Orthopedics Game of the Week from the Ventura County Star. 4th and goal from the 3. The handoff goes up the middle, and running in for the touchdown is Fletcher Gravel. So Gravel making a play. Fletcher Gravel with the 3-yard score on 4th and goal. And now the lead is up to 55. Double Nichols with a PAT pending for Alex Gonzalez.
Speaking of Bishop Diego across the street, Camarillo, the Ventura County Star's favorite in this new look Camino League. Maybe the most competitive league around. You've got that really talented Grace Brethren team that played in the state final last year. You've got Bishop Diego, who I think won a state championship. You got that great Moore Park team that made a CIF final last year. You've got Camarillo and Thousand Oaks. Lauren Ledeen, my coworker, as he often does, aptly dubbed it the League of Champions. With so many teams that have had such success recently. So, we'll see. That's certainly a league to learn now and look forward to once we get into league play in September. And then, the big story for Buena is they're part of this new group. They've been the Channel League almost their entire existence. This year, first year in the new look Pacific View League. which is really going to be something special, we think, with Ventura and Buena going over and joining the Oxnard schools since Camarillo, as we see, has left the Pacific View League about 5-6 years ago to join those former Romani League schools. It's been an all Oxnard affair, and now it's kind of an all the big schools in the western half of Ventura County, all in the same league: Ventura, Buena, Pacifica, Oxnard, Channel Islands, and Rio Mesa 16 league.
This time it's the kickoff to about the 20-yard line, returned up to the 40-yard line, so good field position upcoming for Buena. But big picture, when you look at this Camarillo squad, they do seem to have what you want out of your team, which is great line play. And when you look at this Camarillo Scorpions defense, the front is active, the linebackers are great. We've seen the guys in the secondary make plays, and then offensively there's playmakers all over for a line that seemingly keeps the quarterback away from trouble and allows running lanes to open up. I've been extremely impressed with what I've seen, but it all starts with that line of scrimmage.
One thing Coach Bolin mentioned to me, I'm sure he mentioned it to you, and it kind of bears true when you watch this game, is Camarillo is a team without weaknesses. They're solid. There's really no holes. They've got a lot of, as Medina is sacked, there's really every spot on this team, is accounted for, and you really can't exploit. And the coaching staff from, you've got Tewa Sanchez, one of the better offensive coordinators around, Jack Willard, Dennis Reed Miller. You add one of the biggest defensive coordinators in Ventura County, and Ron Wolford over from Moore Park. I mean, really, it's a stacked coaching staff. So, you're going to get, not only do you've got a team without any weaknesses, they're going to be well coached, and in position. So they're really going to pose some problems for those other teams in the Camino League.
This time a quick throw outside, gets it over to Aguilar.
There's Aguilar in the passing game.
Yeah, Aguilar, and he's a guy that's definitely one of these weapons for the Buena Bulldogs. And as you mentioned, they're not in league play. If they can figure all this out as you head into Pacific View League play, this is a Buena team too that it should be on the rise come mid-season into that stretch in November where you would make the push towards a playoff potential.
And the thing about it, with the way that the Pacific View League kind of looks this year, you've got, Oxnard's the favorite. Pacifica is kind of, who debuted tonight against Dos Pueblos, to see how they're doing. They're in a position to really, challenge Oxnard. They're very talented and deep, but young team. They're coming around. Look at Devin Morris go.
Morris with a huge gain. Little jet sweep, picks up about 20 yards, a little bit over 20 yards on that play, 22-yard gain. And you see, again, they have some weapons as well.
Yeah.
Morris is a weapon. I think you can trust both Powell Mathis and Aguilar. Babcock's a sophomore receiver that I know Coach Bolin was extremely excited about his upside. And then your quarterback is still a sophomore in his second start. There's almost no doubt.
So then,
going to pick it up. And as I said, the one thing I like is he doesn't seem to make a lot of mistakes. He had the one throw, didn't have quite the zip on it for the INT, but the throw was there if it was placed in the right area. He's been a pretty heady quarterback here through 2 weeks.
I mean, this is an introduction to a quarterback that we are going to see for the next 3 years. I mean, they're investing in their future by playing this kid. He certainly looks, and Coach Bolin compared him to Cody Barber, the kid that he had last year, who was, led Ventura County in passing for so much of the year, and so that they're certainly going places. They just have to, take their lumps and learn and improve and grind. And in this league, there's something there for them to work towards, because you have Oxnard, you have Pacifica, you have a clear 1-2, 1-1, whatever, top two teams in this league. I think it bounced. And then after that, you've got a really interesting, you're going to have Ventura with Carson Willis. Their quarterback maybe gives them an edge in that third spot, but certainly Rio Mesa and Buena and Ventura are going to be in this kind of mini league battling for that third spot. You're in a 16 league now, so you have an automatic third berth. We talk about how CIF, really in high school football in California, preseason really is the preseason. The non-league play is really the preseason, because it doesn't really mean that much. We've seen with Agura and some of these other teams that have gone winless in non-league and then swept their leagues and made the playoffs and really put themselves in a position to make the playoffs based on only what they've done in league. And so Buena could come and learn for the first half of the season, and in the second half of the season, finish third in PVL and make the playoffs.
Clock is winding down, under 10 seconds. 3rd and 15, incomplete, and that will be the final play of the game as the Camarillo Scorpions improve to 2-0. The final score, Camarillo 56, Buena 0. A great effort, back-to-back weeks with 50-plus points for the Scorpions, and the Buena Bulldogs fall short of their goal here in week 1. But as you said, Joe, a lot of season ahead for this Buena Bulldogs team. And for Camarillo, I think you almost have to give the MVP of this game to the entire defensive line and just what they did on first down. I think the biggest gain we saw on first down all game was 5 yards for this Buena Bulldogs team. And for our first broadcast of the year, I think what we're seeing is a team in the Camino League making a statement with the Camarillo Scorpions as they defeat Buena 56-0. And we saw a great first half effort from James McNamara. And then in the second half, it was Jesse Valenzuela taking over with 2 50-plus yard rushes for touchdowns. And just an all-in effort from this team, as you said, with no weaknesses. And now going forward next week, we will have Oxnard and Westlake. But I think Camarillo's made a statement in back-to-back weeks.
Yeah, I mean, certainly, do we call them that? Certainly one of the best teams in Ventura County, up there with Oxnard and Pacifica, among the best teams in the Western, below the grade. And so, Coach Willard has something going on. We'll see where it ends. They were 2 plays away from just an incredible, what would have been an incredible achievement in the Romani League last year. Now this year, they're in, what poses to be an entertaining and an interesting race in this new La Camino League. So certainly not the last that we're going to see out of the Camarillo Scorpions this year. And then certainly Buena once again. Early in the season, the Pacific View League, that 3rd spot, that playoff spot, wide open. They're at the beginning of their improvement arc, and it's just how quickly they can get there, whether or not they're going to be able to compete for a playoff spot next month.
Final score tonight on our Ventura Orthopedics Game of the Week from the Ventura County Star, Camarillo 56, Buena 0. We do want to thank our producer, Anthony Placencia, color commentator, Joe Curley. I am Kent Brown signing off from Buena High School. This has been our Ventura Orthopedics Week 1 Game of the Week.